There are many moments in life that amaze us with its immense beauty. The wide, sweeping view at the top of a mountain, the vibrant, vivid colors of a sunset, the gentle glow of a full moon. As we look at these sights, we are filled with awe and this feeling we can't describe. In an attempt to capture this feeling, we pull out our phones and take a picture. And it looks like this. Or this. Photos never seem to do our eyes justice. What feels vast and rich and deep, what feels beautiful, usually ends up feeling underwhelming. Part of the reason comes down to the technical limits of cameras, things like lenses and lighting, and photography skills like composition and editing. But the main reason is because our vision does far more than take a picture or a video. It constructs an entire visual simulation in our brain. The differences start in the eyes. When taking a picture with a camera, the lens focuses the light onto a rectangular sensor with an even grid of receptors, so the whole picture is taken at once. With the eyes, it requires scanning around to look at multiple points very quickly. This is because the retina, the sensor of the eyes, takes in most of the details at the center. There's a massive number of photoreceptors concentrated in a tiny point and spread out from there. If we took a photo with a sensor like this, only the middle would be in focus while everything else is a blur. If you stare at this dot, you can't read any of the words without moving your eyes. This lets us see a lot of detail in something very small or very far away, like the moon. We can zoom in on that detail by changing the scope of our attention. It's like listening in on someone's voice in a crowd, or looking deep into their eyes and forgetting everything else. We can cut out unimportant details to shift our mental focus and make things seem much bigger and closer than they really are. Most of what we are seeing is actually constructed by the brain. As the eyes dart around trying to pick up important details, the visual cortex is busy stitching it all together to make sense of it. It is building up a picture based on where the eyes have looked and also the slight differences between the left and the right eye. It may feel like you see everything all at once, but it's actually quite fuzzy. Look at this picture for a few seconds. Now, how many people were there? What was the expression on their faces? Do you remember what they were doing? Now look again. As we look at things, our minds build up a general picture of what's going on, its best prediction of its surroundings, like an abstract impressionist painting. We need to constantly use our eyes to reaffirm important details, else they rapidly fade. This is why eyewitnesses are generally unreliable. What we see is not a photo with all the pixels captured from corner to corner. It is a constantly shifting flicker of details we fill in moment to moment. The other important part of what we see are our feelings. Cameras nowadays are really good at what they do. They focus quickly, capture a lot of details in all different lighting conditions, and have very accurate colors. Yet the best photos, the ones with the most impact, tend to have very exaggerated details, dramatic focus, and inaccurate colors. These photos look less like what our eyes see, but much closer to how they feel inside our heads. When all that information from the eyes gets stitched together, it also threads together a myriad of features like context, memories, and feelings. By layering these features on top, it effectively changes what we see. Being on top of a mountain feels grand and expansive because you are there, out in the open with the natural panorama present all around you in every direction. Or a trinket that you saved from your childhood might be the most beautiful treasure to you, even if it looks like junk to everyone else. Feelings and colors have a very close connection as well. Research has shown that those with depression tend to view the world as more blue and gray. It can even be predicted who may be depressed if they preferred more dull pictures on social media. Feelings of joy and vibrance are also connected. People who take psychedelics like LSD or psilocybin report seeing vivid colors and shimmers along with their feelings of euphoria. This might be why things also look a little different after having sex, as the brain releases drug-like hormones. Effective movies and photos use these mental associations to impact how you feel. It zooms into specific detail, plays with color and lighting, looks at things from a certain angle. It tries to replicate the way something feels in that moment, which is more important than what we see with our eyes. Movies also use timing, movement, and music to reproduce further nuances of how we see and how they make us feel. More often than not, a camera cannot capture what we see because what we see is not a picture or a movie. It is an experience constructed by a blend of memories, feelings, focus, and attention mixed into the shifting details streaming in from our darting eyes. Cameras can only do a fraction of what our complex vision does. Sometimes it's best to put the camera down and simply take it all in before the moment disappears.